What's up mod squad, MOB back with another Division 2 video, and in today's video I bring to you my first PVE build of Title Update 8. The reason I'm starting with a PVE build is because I honestly think changes will be made to the time to kill in PvP, and I want to wait until then to make my PvP builds. So with that said, let's talk about PVE builds in Warlords of New York Title Update 8. A lot of you guys would have seen already by the builds that have already been put out there, there's mainly two ways to build right now. One is a straight DPS build and the other is a all out skill build. It seems we are forced to build this way because of the new time to kill in PvE, which makes enemies super spongy. And because of that we need extreme damage to get through them quickly before they kill us, because not only are they spongy, but they are way more aggressive in the way that they act now. So as many of you guys already know, I am a weapons kind of guy more than a skill build user, so my build will be based around assault rifles, and I know to many of you that won't be much of a surprise because my favourite weapon type is assault rifles, which I've made more than clear in many other videos. Because I've said this is a weapon based build, I'm sure a lot of you will probably think, oh, it's just another all res DPS build, builds that others have already put out. Well, you couldn't be more wrong. Now those builds are all good because they do the job they're intended for, which is to shred through NPCs, but they lack in any form of healing or self-sustain. So today I'll be bringing you a DPS assault rifle build that does more than enough damage to shred heroic difficult NPCs, and will also make sure you don't have to use all of your armor kits within the first 5 minutes of a heroic mission. So with this new update, changes were made to armor regen. Changes that actually made it viable, which you're going to see in today's video. Now not a lot of people have thought about even using it. I've not even seen anybody incorporate it into their builds. Well, I have, and I've tested it and it is very viable. I've put it up against armor on kill and I find it actually works out better than using armor on kill, because armor on kill requires obviously for you to get that kill, and sometimes you're just not able to do that. So using the armor regen can work out better. It just means you're going to have to play patient, sit back, which you should be doing in a heroic mission anyway. So sit back and just give the armor regen time to kick in. So that's enough talking about the build, let's actually get into it, starting off with the specialist and the reason I'm choosing to run the gunner specialist. The first reason is this talent right here that gives us an extra 10% armor on kill. That's just going to add to our survivability. Next up we have the armor kit, which gives us 100% armor and grants 30% bonus armor for 10 seconds. We're pretty squishy, so the more armor the better. And then up next we have this talent right here, which is a godsend for those of you who haven't got the greatest aim. It is 15% weapon handling while not moving. You need to be motionless for 1 second for it to kick in. Now you're going to spend most of your time behind cover in heroic missions, staying still, waiting for NPCs to peek so you could just beam them down. And you'll see in the gameplay, this talent right here, it works a charm. It's amazing. So for those of you who got bad aim, this is going to help you guys out. Up next we have this right here, which is the barrage. Rate of fire increased by 5% on kill for 5 seconds. So there's not massive percentages within this gunner specialist, but every little helps, and all these little things, they add up, and you know, they make this crazy build even better. So with the specialist out of the way, let's get into the build. Now just quickly before we dive into this build, I just want to say this is a blueprint, guys. It's a template for people to follow or to take and improve on. It may say in the title, the best this. It may say it's this and that, but I'm going to be real with you guys. Us YouTubers, we have to put something in the title that's eye-catching so people check out the video. That's all it is. But again, it's a blueprint, a template for people to follow and then improve on. And that's it. So with that said, let's get into the build. Starting off with my tactical MK16. Now that's different. I bet you guys were expecting the FAMAS or the M4 or something, or the P416. Nope, I'm using the tactical MK16 because I didn't bother with it any other patch, and it's really good this patch. As you can see, total damage 100.7k, the RPM is 625, and then a mag of 50. Core attributes: 15% assault rifle damage, 9% health damage, and 6% damage to armor. Now this gun was in one of the vendors, and this is how it rolled before they nerfed it. The only thing I've changed there obviously is the damage to armor. I've put that to max, but this was pretty much rolled this way in the vendor, but again, they nerfed the vendors. So we're running Optimus on here. Weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. I'm sure there's other damage talents I can mess around with. Someone said to me strained, but at the same time 50 in a mag, I don't know. Strain's based on timing if we just look at it, because I believe I have it on my M4. As you can see here, strained gain 10% critical hit damage for every 0.5 seconds you are firing, stacks out to 5 times. That's not going to be all that too much with 50 in a mag and 850 rounds per minute. So I will leave that talent more for the LMGs. So secondary, we're running the Pestilence, and if you guys watched my last video, you know exactly why we're running this gun, because that shit's OP. Now before I talk more about the Pestilence, I just want to backtrack a little bit, and we're going to go over the attachments on my assault rifle here. So we have crit chance on the sight, we have crit chance on the underbarrel, and then we have crit chance on the muzzle. And then when it comes to the magazine, we have the extra 20 rounds, negative 10% reload speed. So those are the attachments on my MK16. And again, the Pestilence, the way I use it is I put the effect on them, then I switch over and I beam them down with my assault rifle. The effect that this Pestilence puts on NPCs is amazing. It almost makes them back off a little bit more. They seem to be less aggressive. But yeah, definitely got to run a Pestilence when you're doing heroic or the harder missions, even a legendary. It's just a godsend. It's absolutely great. So those are the guns I'm running. I don't know if there's any point of really going over the sidearms anymore, because you used to use them for the holstered talents, and I just don't see any use for them anymore. We have the perfect preservation right here, but yeah, let's just scrap that. Anyway guys, we're going to move on to the actual build now, starting off with our mask. So we have the Seska mask right here, giving us 10% critical hit chance. The core attribute is 15% weapon damage, and then this is what makes the build different to every other DPS build there is out there right now. We have the armor regeneration, near enough 5k, near enough a max roll right there. Up next we have critical hit damage at 10.8%, and then we have a mod that gives us 17k armor kill, which is great because that adds to the percentage that the gunner specialization gives us too, giving us a tiny bit more survivability. Now moving on to the chest piece, and this is the name chest piece right here, the sacrifice. Only after everything has been given can you expect to receive. When the vessel is empty, the soul is complete. That's the little passage that's on there, if you want to call it that. This is a Providence chest piece. I got this, I believe, from farming the targeted loot, if any of you guys are interested. I actually got 2 within half an hour. I was farming heroic, so put your world on heroic and farm away and you might get lucky. The core attributes on here are 8% weapon damage, which isn't the greatest, bearing in mind the max I believe is like 15. But when it comes to crit damage, we have 10.9%, which is not too bad. More armor regeneration at 4.8k, so we're close to that max roll again. And then we have our critical hit damage mod giving us 10.1%. And as you can see there, we got a way to go when it comes to the mods. They can get a lot higher. I've been farming away trying to get better mods, but I haven't been able to find anything better than 10.5. so if you guys have found anything above this, let me know down in the comment section below. Now getting onto the juicy part of this chest piece, the talent, which is Perfect Glass Cannon. All damage you deal is amplified by 30%. All damage you take is amplified by 60. Yes, 60%. Sounds bad, but the way you play heroics, you're not playing to take damage. You're sitting in cover, you know, you're peeking, you're beaming, you're trying to avoid any phase tanking whatsoever. Now the main reason people run this chest piece is because the damage you get, that 30%, is multiplicative. So that's why people are drawn to this talent right here. If you can't get Glass Cannon or Perfect Glass Cannon, what I can suggest you go for is Obliterate or Unbreakable. Unbreakable, one of the best talents for PvE and PvP in the game. Hands down, when your armor is depleted, repair 95% of your armor. Who's going to say no to that, right? If you want more survivability on this build, then go for something like Unbreakable. You could even go for Bloodsucker on the backpack. Some people like me, I'm running 2 damage talents, one on the chest and backpack. Some people want all the survivability and might just leave the damage down to the crit chance, crit damage and weapon damage, whereas I'm adding the talents in there as well. So if you want the extra survivability, you can run Unbreakable on your chest piece and Bloodsucker on your backpack. But that's how we're running it. And another talent I suggest is down here, Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 15 times. So definitely one you can run. This is what I was using before I got the talent I'm running now, Perfect Glass Cannon. So with the chest piece out of the way, guys, we're going to move on to the holster. This is our second piece of Providence Defense, and the reason we're running Providence Defense in the first place is because we get 10% headshot damage, 10% critical hit chance, and then 15% critical hit damage. Now the core attribute on this holster is 10.4% weapon damage, and the attributes are 4.3% critical hit chance, and then we have a nice roll of 4.6k armor regeneration. Now onto our second piece that holds our talent, our backpack. So our backpack is our third piece of Providence Defense, and the core attribute, and this hurts me saying this, is 5.9% weapon damage. Very low roll right there, not happy about that. I can farm and get better for sure, just I haven't got lucky so far. So when it comes to attributes, we have a max roll of 6% critical hit chance. We have an okay roll when it comes to the armor regeneration at 3.7k, and then we have 10.2 critical hit damage, which comes from the offensive mod. And then the talent we're running, and this is one I'm trying right now, it's okay. It's definitely one you can run. Composure, while in cover, increases total weapon damage by 5%. And I thought, because I'm in cover so much, why not? Why not? What I was running before that though was, I believe, I did do Bloodsucker for a bit more survivability, but I feel I've improved. I've got better. I know how to play now, so I can play around, with more damage talents now. I was using Unstoppable Force. Killing an enemy increases total weapon damage by 5% for 15 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. So we can quite easily run this. I would run it, but I don't have the armor regeneration on this backpack. As you can see, we have weapon handling, and I went for the crit chance. But if I had the armor regen on there, I would probably run Unstoppable Force. But like I said, Composure is definitely a viable talent you can use on the build. Moving on to our gloves right here, we have 14.2% weapon damage, attributes 3.5% critical hit chance. That's a little bit low right there. Then we have 10.6% critical hit damage, and this is coming from the one of the new gear sets, the Gruppo Sombra. And I'm just saying, I'm just saying it with a weird accent, because why not? Everyone else does. Every build video I've watched, someone says it in a weird accent. Gruppo. It reminds me of something from a Wids video. Yeah, but that gear set gives us 15% critical hit damage. And onto our final piece right here, guys. Of course, Fenris for the 10% assault rifle damage, core attribute 9.2% weapon damage, then we have 4.4k armored regeneration, and then 3.9% critical hit chance. Again, there's so many places on this build that can be improved. These knee pads and that backpack for sure can be improved, and I'm looking forward to improving them. So now we have covered the build, we are going to move on to the skills, and we're just going to do this real quick because it's pretty simple. I'm running a Blinder Firefly, and that's just to blind the enemies to make them stand still so they're easy to beam. That's why I run it. This is a skill that's all about preference. You could run a turret, hive, drone, seeker, shock trap, run whatever the fuck you want to run, okay? Run whatever you want to run. But when it comes to your second skill, this one right here, you have to run the Reviver Hive. It is a must-have on every PvE build at the moment. You just have to run it. So make sure you've got this skill unlocked. Anyway, moving on from the skills now, we're going to get into the stat sheet. We're going to get into the juicy stats. We're going to start off with the weapon stats right here. So 100k base damage on the MK. We have 69k PvP weapon damage. We have 54.1% critical hit chance. We have 107 critical hit damage. We have 65% headshot damage, 6% armor damage, 9% health damage. We have 35 range, which is amazing, and you absolutely beam with this gun. You'll see in the gameplay footage a 2.5 second reload time, which is negative 7.4 reload speed bonus. That's because of the magazine we're running. We have 0.2% accuracy, And then we have no stability, but I just have good aim so I can beam. Right, moving on to the next stats right here. We have all weapon damage of 64.1%. We have 15% rifle damage bonus, and then we have 40% assault rifle damage, 15% light machine gun bonus. Moving on to our next stats, these are the talents that we are running on the build. Got to go over to the defense right now. We have 678k armor, which doesn't matter. You're squishy, stay in cover. That's my biggest tip. Stay in cover, take your time, do not go out in the open. And I will say this, cover run. Go cover to cover, don't run out in the open. For some reason, when you do a cover to cover, NPCs shoot you a lot less. But if you just run from one cover to the other, they will beam you down. So moving on to the armor regeneration, 22k. Now you can get it to 25, 27k. It's more effective, but anything above 20k works pretty nice. We also have 84k armor on kill, again, which is nice. Getting that armor back, that survivability. We have max health of 272k. Again, doesn't really matter because we're squishy. Health regeneration is what it is. And I think that is pretty much it, guys. Yep, that's pretty much it. So that is the build. This is what I'm running. Let me know what you think down in the comment sections below. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I'm going to go over some heroic control points I'm thinking. So yeah, don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new for lots more Division 2 content. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Mob Squad.
Detected from the control point in proximity.
Fuck you! They're coming. They're moving in. Back!
Serious trauma detected.
Weapons dry. Hit them! They're in the open! Six!
They're coming for me!
You have to move!
And well fed. Together, we can save the city.
Hands up! We got it! I'm blind! I'm gonna make you bleed!
Be advised that we are doing this for the greater good. The city is surrounded with disease.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Decontaminate it all, then we can build something new.
Sideline. I said! He's dead!
Incoming hostiles detected.
I'm there! Hold on, hit!
Serious trauma detected. access key detected.
I don't see it. They got me pinned down! I need some more ammunition! Where's that coming from?